Hey YouTube. Hey, we've got a 991 2013 Porsche Carrera and had an issue with the power seats. Actually, the vent and the heat in the driver's seat wasn't working, but it was working in the passenger side. So, being electronics tech, I thought I'm going to dig in and figure this out. And I have figured it out. It's taken quite a bit of work, but I've got it figured out, and I figured out a solution, a bypass, since what happens is in the base of your seat, there's a sensor that when the sensor breaks, or if the seat gets too hot, it tells the system, shut that down, it's too hot, safety. But what can happen is a wire is apparently a little fine little wire. I've read up some forums on some VWs. I haven't found anything on the Porsches, which is why I had to dig into it myself. But anyway, the sensor goes bad, and it tells the car that the sensor's open or broken, and so then your seat won't function. Now, if you're in the South like I am, and it's hot, you really want that vented seat so your back's not all sweaty. You're not going to overheat by having a fan run. So maybe bypass is an option, although I wouldn't recommend it because, well, it's kind of dangerous. So don't do what I've done, but I'll show you what I did. Okay, so we're working on on the Porsche here, and I'm doing this kind of lazy with my phone, so we'll see if we can make this work. So obviously, let me step back a second. This is a Porsche Carrera 991, and I'm dealing with the driver's side. And what you'll see, I've got the seat pulled up, and what you'll see, if we're dealing with the heated lower seat cushion and the vented fans, try to take a picture here. This right here is one of the fans for the lower cushion. There's one built into the backrest as well. But if you're trying to figure out what I'm figuring out, yours doesn't work, but the passenger side does, and you're just looking for some information on how to troubleshoot, on the side of the seat, right down here, there's a connector. And I'm going to show you that connector right here. Okay, so it's a black connector. There's 4 wires going into it. It's like a white, black, and a brown, and then there's a yellow brown, and I think a yellow white. Give you an idea, here is the schematic for that. So what I'm dealing with is right here. This is the connector, and those are the colors of the wire. And so they go, you see, to this sensor. And on this, there's also a heating element. That's what that is. And then right there is the sensor. In my case, the sensor's gone bad. So what I'm going to do is bypass that sensor with a 12 kilo ohm resistor. And that will let the seat think that the seat's okay, and the system will still work. So if you wanted to do something like that, or see how I did mine, it's right here is where that connector is. Like I say, a black connector, 4 wires. And what you see here is I put some of these crimp-on deals. I hate these things as a technician, but in this case, they're pretty handy. So I've crimped them on with a resistor. Get my hand out of the way. And the resistor here is just a 12K ohm resistor. It's here, and I have soldered some wires onto the end and heat shrinked it nice and neat. And those wires then are jumping between the brown-black and the white-black wires. So back on the schematic, it's jumpering between these 2 bottom wires here, which says white black and brown black, just above my finger there. And the yellow white and the yellow brown, those are for the heater. I don't have any issues to deal with that, so I'm not bypassing that or messing with that. It's just this sensor here I wanna bypass so that my fan will work. I'm not planning to use the heat here in the South because I don't drive my car in the winter. Anyway, that's how I did it. Right here on this connector, this black connector, put these 2 little splices in, and it's just jumping a 12K ohm resistor across. Now you could use a 15K ohm resistor if you want to. Let me show you real fast here if I can get this to work. So here's my scan tool. And there we go. And so what's happening is you see at the top there, it says seat temperature on the left side is 70 degrees, and the actual interior is 64, and then on the right is 64. Now what's happening is the right seat, which is the passenger's, it works just fine. So that's the actual sensor giving that temperature as well as the interior temperature. But look at that seat temperature. It says on the left at the top there, 70 degrees. Actually, that sensor doesn't work at all. And when it doesn't work, when it goes open, it'll read 104 degrees Fahrenheit, okay? And that tells the system to just trip and to stop, open it up. But in my case, I've put that 12K ohm resistor across that, and so now the car thinks it's 70 degrees instead of thinking that it's an open circuit. And so that's how I've tricked it. Give an idea here. So this is similar to what I've done. I've just taken a resistor and I've put some leads on it so that I can crimp it into that device. So this one I didn't install, and so you can see it here. This one actually was a 15K ohm because that will make it about 64 degrees. That'll match that temperature there. I went ahead and used a 12K ohm to increase the temperature. Just, I don't know, it just seemed like it was maybe more realistic. I didn't want to lie too much to. So you pull the seat up. If you don't know how to pull up a seat on the car, there are, let's see, what size is that? Pardon me. This is my ratchet here. Ready. So it's an E12 to pull that bolt apart, right? So here's one of the seat bolts. And of course, it's just the front. They're covered by a plastic trim. So this plastic trim right here, actually, if you take a small flat screwdriver, or I use this pick, right down in there, you just kind of pry up on that little tab right there, and then that will release the thing, and you just slide it out with your hand. Don't you release that tab. So that's how you pull these covers that'll be on the front off when the car's bolted in. Slide those plastics off, take the bolt out with that E12. The back doesn't have a cover, at least mine doesn't. You pull the 4 bolts out, and then you can tip up the seat forward, forward the seat back forward, and tip it up like this, and you can work on the car. When you do that, you have this harness that comes in and connects to this connector. Now, I saw some stuff on the internet talking about how, hey, this yellow connector is the airbags. If you disconnect that, they'll shoot at you, and all kind of bad stuff happens. That is not true at all. I've disconnected this several times. I haven't had any weird codes in the car or anything that has caused me a problem. I haven't started the car while it was disconnected. But just disconnecting it normally doesn't cause a problem. But so in this harness, what I wanted to show was there's this little breakout right here. Well, this little wire appears to be the power for the fan, the vents themselves. And so it comes over and connects to the side here. And on this side, then it routes underneath and goes to the fan motor. And I've actually checked the continuity on that and proved that, yes, that's the wire that runs the fan. As far as the heat goes, they actually go in this connector block and then come out here. They route down, let's see, they route down along here and then make their way to that connector that I was showing you. There's also another connector right beside this black one here. And it's, well, it's that blue one that I think you can probably see down here, maybe not. I mean, that is the connector. Maybe is this working any better? Okay, so this blue connector here, so there's the black connector I was telling you about for that's got the seat cushion, the bottom cushion, and the sensor in it. And then this one here is the one that goes to the bolster. There's actually separate heaters in this bolster and a separate heater in this bolster. And so, anyway, I bet this video was horrible. Don't give me any posts. I'm just trying to help out. Took a long time to figure out how to bypass this guy in the Porsche. Hope that helps.